want to thank God for a wonderful session uh, of the Bible study. And by the grace of God, we are going to continue. We want to dig deep this year. And I want to encourage you, try as much as possible to make yourself available so that you can increase your word bank. Word what? Bank. Don't increase your money in the bank, increase your word bank. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbàdúrà. Ọlọ́run ayérayé a gbé ọ̀gá. A yìn ọ́ lógo fún oore ọ̀fẹ́ tí ẹ fi fún wa. Fún ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀ kékeré ta ní ẹ̀mí mọ́ ṣí ojú ẹ̀mí wa. Ògo ni fún orúkọ yín. Ní orúkọ Jésù ni a gbàdúrà. Once again, I want to appreciate God for sparing your life and sparing my life. The last time Tarira was 2025, and today is on the 6th of January. Thank God for the first 5 days, and already halfway mark the 6th day. Ọlọ́run tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ dáadáa. Gbogbo ọdún yìí náà á dára fún wa. Ohun gbogbo á lọ létò. The theme, the Bible study centered on the prophetic anchor for this year. Tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa divine satisfaction. But our monthly theme is landmark. Mark chapter 2 verse 12. And immediately he arose and took up the bed and went forth before them all, inasmuch that they were all amazed and glorified God, saying, we never saw it on this fashion. Gómìnà kan ló máa ń pera ẹ̀ ní ó yàtọ̀. Lọ́dún yìí, ìyàtọ̀ Olúwa yóò mú wọnú ayé rẹ̀. Now, when you look at the landmark, let's give an example like Abeokuta. Olumo is a landmark. And the word landmark is, we are talking of object or future of a landscape. Landscape is visible future. There are visible features you can see in Abeokuta today. Example, when you get to Opik, you see a towering building. Along the place, you see GT towering building. When you go to side of Olumo, you see Adire Mall. These are what they call landmark. So landmark is an object or features of a landscape or town that is easily seen or recognized for a what? From a distance. Lọ́dún yìí, ayé wa ní àmì. Ó ní wọ́n rí wọn náà Isaiah 61 verse 9 ní irú àwọn ọmọ tí Ọlọ́run bùkún lélẹ̀. That will be your testimony this year. Now, when you look at it, landmark can be a beacon. Until if you draw a kind of alignment, it can be lighthouse. It can be a polar star. When you are a navigator, you know all this. And it can be a sign. Wọ́n ní tó bá ti débì kan, wà á rí sign báyìí ní ibẹ̀. Ibẹ̀ ni kò yà sí. Now, this particular thing we are talking about, I want us to look at it just a few minutes. I want to spend 15 minutes or 18 minutes. Already I'm into 5 minutes. I want us to look at it. Mark chapter 2, 1 to 12. Ohun tí Jésù sọ ó yà wọ́n lẹ́nu. Wọ́n ń query pé ta ló ní irú authority. So I want us to look at it. The first aspect of the landmark, I will continue next week. It's going to be very short. It is what we call religious perspective and relationship proper. Or proper relationship. Now, when you look at from the religious perspective, Let me paint it this way. We are looking about framework. Àgbékalẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti ní. That's what they call framework. Framework is an essential supporting structure. And that religion has been a structure. I will give you a clue from the Bible. Genesis 3, verse 7. Wọ́n rí ara wọn ní o. Ó ní wọ́n já ewé ọ̀pọ̀tọ́. But in Genesis chapter 3, verse 21, ó ní Ọlọ́run pa ẹran, ó sì fi kíni, ó fi awọ ẹran yẹn, ó fi yí wọn ká, ó fi wọ̀ wọ́n. Ó túmọ̀ sí pé in tí Ọlọ́run ṣe títí láì ni. But tí àwọn ṣe kí ọ̀run má ti ràn ní ewé àgbẹ̀. Now, nǹkan méjì ló wà. Ìbáṣepọ̀ wa àti Ọlọ́run àbí ìbáṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀sìn. Religious perspective làwọn yẹn fi wò ó pé ta ló nírú àṣẹ báyìí láti sọ fẹ́nìkan pé adarí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rẹ̀ jìnnà. So when you are talking about religious perspective, we are talking about a framework established by man, essentially to provide a supporting structure for what? For their principle. Number one, principle. Say principle. Principle. For what? For principle. Now, what that is telling you is that this supporting structure gives you an understanding. Number one, understanding to provide you a litmus test to authenticate whether that principle is right or not. Bóyá ohun tí wọ́n gbàgbọ́ yẹn, bóyá bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. Tá bá wá nínú Mark chapter 3 àbí Mark chapter 7. Mark chapter 7 from verse 3 to 14. Jésù sọ fún wọn, ó ní tradition ti yín nìyẹn. Ó ní kò ń ṣe tí Ọlọ́run gbé kalẹ̀. So when you look at this from religious perspective, nǹkan mẹ́ta mo fẹ́ kó rí. Number one is to provide a kind of litmus test to evaluate how authentic, number one, the principle. How authentic their position. How authentic their what? The power. Ó ní ẹ má jẹ́ àgbàgbé o, ó náà tọ̀ àwọn tirẹ̀ wá, àwọn tirẹ̀ kò sì gbà á. John 1:11 and 12. Ó ní bọ́ yí àwọn tó gbà á, ó fi agbára fún ọ láti jẹ́ ta ni ọmọ Ọlọ́run. Now, litmus test wọn ni pé wọ́n gbàgbọ́ wípé position àwọn ò ní position Ọlọ́run. What we are saying is that from the religious perspective, the first thing they want a litmus test that will evaluate how authentic, number one, their principle to hold on to. Number two, their position. And number three, their power. Ó ní wọ́n fi gbogbo ìgbà kẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ṣùgbọ́n wọn kò dé kíni ìmọ̀ òtítọ́. Ó ní ìwà wọn dàbí kíni. What is that? 2 Timothy chapter 3. Can anybody read 2 Timothy chapter 3? Verse 5. Wọ́n ní àfarawé ìwà bí Ọlọ́run. Kí ni wọ́n ṣe? Wọ́n ṣe agbára yẹn la fi gbà wá. Ó ní bọ́ yí àwọn tó gbà á, ó fi agbára fún wọn. Power for what? Living. So number one is to do what? To provide a litmus test for what? To evaluate how authentic the principle. Principle èèyàn, in whatever way, listen, opinion èèyàn ò lè jẹ́ substitute for ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run. No matter how highly people esteem that opinion. So number two is their position, and number three, the power. Now, when you look at the other one, the understanding is a way to give them what? Life purpose. Kí ni life is all about? That is religion. Religion wants to give you, why am I existing? What am I existing for? Life what? Purpose. But has religion been able to do that? No. And number three there is the lens of what? Specific interest. Specific interest as touching our faith, as touching our relationship with people. Religion dàbí ẹni ń lo glass, tó ń lo glasses, tó ń lo lens láti fi ríran. Ṣé bó jẹ́ kí n rìn rèé? Ṣé bó jẹ́ kí n ṣe rèé? So, Number one is that people, they held on to the angle of what? Religion. Are you getting it? But when Jesus came, what he provided was not religion. He provided what? Relationship. So we are putting two things side by side. One is religion, the other one is what? Relationship. And for that relationship to fly, Jesus just went straight. Adari Esherejo. People are looking at it. He attacked it from the roots, but àwọn ò lè comprehend it. Praise the Lord. So they cannot fathom it. They find it extremely difficult. What is this man trying to say? Let me now put relationship in proper perspective. 4 things. When you are talking about configuration, what are those 4 things in that configuration? Configuration is arrangement in a particular form. When you study chemistry, they talk configuration. Like you say, he that made them male and female. We are configured differently. Matthew 19:4. We are configured what? Differently. And because of Reverend John Agee, only obìnrin wà emotional, ọkùnrin wà logical. Now, when you look at the configuration now, 4 things mo fẹ́ ká dì mú. Number 1 is that kí ni consideration Ọlọ́run. The main consideration of God is man and not the move. God made a move in the Garden of Eden. What was the move? Which acts as a shadow of the typology. Kí ni move yẹn? Ó dá ó fi àwọ̀ bu ẹni yẹn. Kí ni interpretation àwọ̀ yẹn? Isaiah 61 verse 10. That is giving you the typology of what God has in plan. The shadow, only the shadow and what? And the type. Hebrews chapter 10:1. Talosure Rikaka. I said I have 15-20 minutes. I'm already into 11-12. Oh yeah, sister. Èmi yóò yọ̀ gidi nínú Olúwa. Ọkàn mi yóò yọ̀ nínú Ọlọ́run mi. Agbádá kí ni? Ìgbàlà wọ̀ mí. Ó fi aṣọ òdodo. So number 1 is kí ni consideration Ọlọ́run? The God's consideration has to do with what? Has to do with man, because he invested a lot in man, but he made a move in form of a makeshift arrangement. Also in Psalm 62 and Psalm 32 verse 1, ó ní ìbùkún ni fún ẹni tí kí ni abo ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. But nínú májẹ̀mú tuntun, 1 John chapter 1, ó ní verse 9, ó ní ẹni tí a dáríjì tí a sì ṣe kí ni tápá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rẹ̀ rẹ́. There is difference between covering something to be covered and something to be cleansed. So God's consideration centered on man. Ó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú èèyàn gangan. It is not about the move. But religious is all about the move. We are moving to another level. We are getting this. That is not what God is all about. It is about man. Ó ní Olúwa fẹ́ràn aráyé tó bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́. Ó fẹ́ràn ènìyàn. Meaning that Jésù láti fi orí ìtẹ́ rẹ̀ sílẹ̀. John chapter 17 verse 4. Ó ní mo bọ́ ògo tí èmi ti ní láti ayérayé. Mo bọ́, ó sì gbé àwòrán ènìyàn. Ó ní ẹ jẹ́ kí ọkàn kó wà nínú yín. Philippians chapter 2 verse 5. Let this mind be in you. Ó ní ẹni tí kò bá ara rẹ̀ dọ́gba pẹ̀lú ó gbé àwọn ìránṣẹ́. So number 1, what is God's consideration? Èèyàn yẹn ni Jésù rí. You see several times they will contend with him because of Sabbath. That is the move. They so much believe in the Lord, so much that they are not really interested about man. So ìwọ náà kí ló rí? You and God. It is not you and religion. You and what? And God. It is possible what somebody is telling you run foul of what God really wants you to know. That is why you can only attain a landmark this year. It is not what man believes is the move. When I move, when they say, that's why we preach it in Christianity. And faith to everybody in preaching. Say prosperity to everybody in preaching. We are preaching prosperity at the expense of people making it. It must be balanced. And as long as he seek the Lord in the day of Zechariah, there has the understanding of what? Vision. God continue to prosper him. 2 Chronicles 26 verse 5. But the moment Zachariah died. He lost it. You will not lose it. Amen. Number 2 is what we call contemplation. The word contemplation is, we are talking about the thoughtful act of that's what is going on in the mind of God for a long time. Something that has to do with long time, not a short time arrangement. So when you look at the contemplation, I want you to see 2 things from the angle of religion and from the angle of God. God is interested in your maturation and not in immediate manifestation. Is somebody hearing me? But human beings are so much interested in manifestation. Do you know how long it took Elisha to serve Elijah? 14 solid years. Back already chapters Mary. And we felt it was just yesterday to Dodwe. No Tigbagbarawo. And somebody else is not interested. He want to manifest. So owó yẹn ni lára tí wọ́n lè fi manifest kó spray ìgboro àbí kó wọ̀ gboro kan mọ̀ kó mówó wá. Àníṣe kí lọ̀gá ń ṣe lè fún jẹ́ lọ gba owó lọ́wọ́ máa ń yín náà. Ṣe pé ibi tó ń fẹ́ tó nìyí. Ó ti mú ìpín tiẹ̀ tó yàtọ̀ sí ìpín ti Ọlọ́run. Elisha had to serve Elijah. Ṣé òun nìkan ló jẹ́ ọmọ wòlíì? There were many of them. They were even making mockery of him. Kí ló ń gbórúkọ tó ń pè ọ̀gá mo wúlò? But he served him diligently. And until he matured, look at what Elijah said. He said, kí ló fẹ́? Ìlọ́po méjì agbára. Ó ní nǹkan tó lágbára ló béèrè o. Because he felt, can he be trusted with that power? Do you know what that power means? Kí ló wà kó tó kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀? Among the first things tó kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀, ó kọ́kọ́ lọ ilé Jericho. Kí ni next one tó ṣẹlẹ̀? Kò lè stand àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Tí yẹn bá tẹ̀síwájú, ta ló máa dúró dè? Now, God is interested in you and I getting matured. And that maturity is a long-lasting journey. It is not something you attain overnight. As long as you are still in this body, you are contending with this enemy called flesh. And meaning that every day you just have to keep maturing. That is where maturation comes. Every manifestation of God's dimension, of the dimension of God's power, pitch you against an higher level of forces of darkness. But if you are not mature, look at people in the Bible. Some people lost it because of lack of what? Not that they are not maturing with the demand of the assignment. Is somebody hearing me? So that is the angle of relationship that the Lord will tell you, you need to sit. I want to. Only Jesus mú ọ wá sí ọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀. Mark chapter 3 verse 13. Níbo ló kọ́ mú ọ wá? Ó mú ọ wá sọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ kó tó rán wọn jáde. Èmi àti ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ fìgbà kankan kúrò lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀. So contemplation tọ́lọ́run ní nìyẹn. Can you get it right? Èèyàn méjì nínú èèyàn 600,000. Ló délẹ̀ wo? Ló délẹ̀ rí. Deuteronomy 1:35 only and Caleb follow God only. Permit me a few more minutes. Can we read Numbers chapter 32? Can we read Numbers 32? Can somebody, a fast reader, read verse 10 and 11 and 12? Numbers 32.
Ìbínú Olúwa sì rú sí wọn nígbà náà.
Ìbínú Olúwa rú sí wọn ní ìgbà náà. Òun ló fi sọ pé they are only interested in manifestation. He shows his way unto Moses and his act unto all. Children of Israel, Psalm 103 verse 7. Kàn fẹ́ jẹ búrẹ́dì, kí búrẹ́dì ti wà. Ibẹ̀ ló fẹ́ dúró sí lọ́dún. Kàn fẹ́ romi, kómi ti wà. Wọn ò fẹ́ mọ ọ̀nà Ọlọ́run pé nígbà tí omi ò sí, what is God trying to teach me? What is God trying to make out of this situation? Already told me ò ti sí, ẹlòmíì ó ti sọ sí ìbínú. Olúwa ó ṣe máa ṣe báyìí. Lẹ́yìn tẹ gbàdá mẹ́wàá lọ́wọ́ mi. Ọlọ́run ló gbàdá mẹ́wàá lọ́wọ́. Ni mo tún wá sọwọ́ nù. Ní dírẹ́sì tún mú mi. Ìwọ lọmọ tí dírẹ́sì mú mi. Oyama. Kò sí ọ̀kankan nu tó máa gòkè. 600,000 footmen. Èèyàn méjì. Percentage àbí ratio kan lọ́lọ́run wò. Bí o bá ṣe wà ń bí èèyàn méjì tó marry from relationship proper, non religious perspective, ọmọ ìjọ kan lọ́lọ́run sọ yìí o. Ìjọ kan ló ní universal church. We only have local assemblies. Church wa bá àwẹ̀ báyìí náà ni o gbà. O jẹ́ understand the mind Ọlọ́run. O lè gba àwẹ̀ kan dà sí free. Àwọn tó ní ká gba àwẹ̀ wọ́n gbọ́ ohùn Ọlọ́run. But ìwọ tó ń gbà ara ló fi ń gbà. Kọ́ lè náà àwọn olóògbà ogun 100 mo gbà ló fẹ́ dúró sí kò sí wàhálà. Ẹ kà síwájú.
Bí kò ṣe Kálẹ́bù ọmọ Jẹ́fúnì ọmọ Kénísì.
Bí kò ṣe Kálẹ́bù ó yá.
Àti Joshua ọmọ Núnì.
Kí ló sọ pé ṣẹlẹ̀?
Torí pé àwọn ló tẹ̀lé Olúwa lẹ́yìn pátápátá.
Wọ́n tẹ̀lé Olúwa lẹ́yìn pátápátá. Contemplation ni pé he wants you to mature. And not just manifestation. You want manifestation of it. You want manifestation of it. It doesn't work that way. It will manifest ordinarily when you comply. Number 3. Composition. The composition here is really addressing the core of the matter. It is not the method. Àwẹ̀ àtàdúrà la máa fi yanjú ẹ̀. That is the method. What is God trying to pass across? What is the matter? What is the matter all about? For you to suddenly had a dream, and in your dream you found yourself doing unthinkable. Àwọn ayé ló dé yìí o. Àwẹ̀ ni mo máa lọ́nà àwẹ̀ ọjọ́ méje. Kí ló lè bí? Níbo ni ilẹ̀kùn ti ṣí? What is real the matter? Jesus addressed the matter. Sin. Àbí? Ó ní adarí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rẹ̀ jẹ́. Wọ́n ní ta pé wọ́n gbọ́ ó ní èwo ló yára nú ẹ̀. That is the matter. The composition is all about the matter and not the method. We have dwelt so much on the method. Tí n bá lè gbàdúrà, màá tún fi double barrel máa fi ṣe. Do you know what they call double barrel? Màá gbàwẹ̀ lọ́sàn-án, màá fi ṣe òòsì lálẹ́. Màá tún màá ṣe ní multiple, màá tún san, I will give dangerous offering. Ṣé Ọlọ́run ló ní o give ẹ̀? Mo bá rántí èmi tó mú wá, Ọlọ́run lè má bá mi san kankan. Olúwa bùkún ọmọ ìwọ ló mówó wá. Ṣé mo tọ́ ọ̀bọ̀ ẹ̀ lápò? If God is not instructing you and you are doing it, you are at your risk. So number 3 there is composition, the matter and not the method. You are not trying to solve mathematics problem. I want to arrive at solution. This is between you and God. What is the matter all about? You pause a minute. Let him speak to you. The moment ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀, Sam kìíní ló lè require. Ó ti ní gbogbo ẹ̀bí doctor to prescribe him. Àwẹ̀rù eléyìí. Ó yá Psalm 35 ní Olúwa gbógun tàwọn tó ń gbógun. Mo mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní yé lé mi. Ta ló ń lé e? Ta ló ń fogun jà? James chapter 4 verse 1. And the last one. Sorry. The last one. James chapter 4 verse 1. Oyoyoyoyoya. Níbo ni ogun ti wá? Níbo ni ìjà ti wá?
Láti inú èyí ṣàkọ́, láti inú ìfẹ́kùfẹ́ ara yín.
Ibo ló ti wá? Number 4, comprehension. Religion is all about your mindset. But relationship is mystery. Àdìtú ni o. Kí ni mo pè? Àdìtú yẹn gangan ló gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ lọ́dún yìí. Ọlọ́run ò pè èèyàn méjì pọ̀. Àbẹ̀yàn méjì ló pè. Tóró gba bàbá ó ti gbọ́mọ. But the mindset, the moment tí bàbá bá jẹ́ Christian, tó náà bí òun àṣẹ Christian ni mò ń sọ, ìdílé ìgbàgbọ́ àwọn ọmọ ọdẹ onígbàgbọ́. By túláàsì, by force. Does that mean what is born again? Ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan ni. You must understand that mystery ni. Romans chapter 16 verse 25. Let me close with that. Mystery and not what? Religion is about your mindset. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni kan bá lọ gbókúta. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti kọ́ wípé ó yẹ ká sókè dáadáa. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti kọ́ wípé
àti àwọn tí kò tí ì gbọ́ òye òye wọn. Nítorí náà pẹ̀lú ní ayé ṣe há fún mi.
No, Romans 16:25. Ǹjẹ́ fún ẹni tó ní agbára
láti fi ẹsẹ̀ yín múlẹ̀.
Láti fi kí ni múlẹ̀? Ẹsẹ̀ wa. Àwọn nǹkan kan àdìtú yẹn ló máa fẹsẹ̀ wa múlẹ̀. Táwọn èèyàn bá náà wọ́n dẹ̀yìn kan Jésù wá ní kò ṣe tèmi ti rí ìmú tó fẹ́ kẹ́yìn sí. Ó yá.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìrere mi.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìrere mi.
Àti ìwàásù Jésù Kristi.
Ìwàásù Jésù Kristi.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣípayá ohun ìjìnlẹ̀.
Ẹ wo personify ìrere mi. You must get to that level. Eléyìí tọ́lọ̀ ń bá mi sọ kò sẹ́ni tó lè gbà. Pastor lè máa sọ, sorry to use this one, ó lè máa sọ kó boraja. But ìtí wọ́n gbà tó mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ló bá ẹ sọ ó dì í mú. Kò sí ní tẹ́lẹ̀ sọ. Ọlọ́run ló ṣe eléyìí. Kó boraja yóò lè change nǹkan kan. Àbẹ́mọ̀, ikùn èèyàn lè mú kí wọ́n sọ tẹnu. Ó yá.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣípayá ohun ìjìnlẹ̀.
Kí ló pé?
Ìṣípayá ohun ìjìnlẹ̀.
Talk to me.
Ìṣípayá ohun
Ẹja sàn.
Ìṣípayá ohun ìjìnlẹ̀.
Ìyẹn ni pé nǹkan kan jinlẹ̀, but Ọlọ́run ṣípayá fáwọn kan. Ṣé o nílò ẹ̀ lọ́dún yìí? There is a mystery behind tithing. That it is not about you going to pay your tax for a tax master. If you don't understand that, you will limit yourself to somebody paying tax. Tó ń fẹ́ pé ìránṣẹ́ sí ìjọba.
Tí a ti pamọ́ láti ìgbà ayérayé.
Níbo ìgbà ọlá ti pamọ́? Gbogbo èèyàn lọ́lọ́run ti fi hàn. Paul ó pàṣọ níbẹ̀ pé ìrere mi. Ó túmọ̀ sí pé àwọn tó ń bá sọ́yìn wọn ò tí ì ní ìfihàn àdìtú yẹn. Dìde lórí ẹsẹ̀ Olúwa. Mo fẹ́ bá ọ rìn ní ọdún yìí. Wọ̀ mí ní oore ọ̀fẹ́ láti lè bá ọ rìn. Ní ìbáṣepọ̀ tó gún. Kì í ṣe ní ti ẹ̀sìn. Ràn mí lọ́wọ́ o. Ó yá àdúrà.